Hello, hello. Welcome to the KCP community meeting. Today is April 9th, 2026. This meeting is being governed under the CNCF Code of Conduct, which boils down to be excellent to each other. We have quite a few folks joining us today and quite a few things on the agenda, so let's get started. But before we do that, don't forget to leave your name in the attendees list in the meeting minutes, which I just shared to the chat. So let me ask one more thing. Do we maybe have someone who would like to take notes?
I can do that
Thank you so much, MJ.
when I'm not talking, so I need a backup, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm your wingman.
Okay.
Thank you. So the first item that we have, do we have anyone new who would like to say hi and introduce themselves?
Hey, hi. I'm Pedro, and I'm a software engineer based in Germany. And I started to contribute in the last 3 weeks with on the Good First issues. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome. Nice to have you on board. Do we have anyone else who would like to say hi? Okay. If at any point anyone would like to introduce themselves, we have the KCP dev channel on the Kubernetes Slack, so feel to come and say hi. We love seeing new faces. We can go on to the topics part of the agenda, and the first one is from MJ, which is versioning in different components.
Yeah, I think this will be a quick one. So in the last few months, quarters, we kind of kicked out quite a few components in our repository, like init agent, which is version 0.2, sync agent, which is 0.5.1, KCP operator, which is now 0.6, and KCP itself, which is 13.3. So you might see the issue already. And what happened in the last few times, like sometimes we miss releases or misalign the releases when you need to release one thing but not another. And this is not only those repos. We have Helm charts with some other ones. And I'm wondering, should we do something? Should we just align with a KCP version and add some subversioning patch release or something? Because it's sometimes getting hard to see when things need to be bumped and things like that. So I'm just wondering how people feel. And in general, makes sense. Which KCP version is KCP operator 0.5 or 6.1?
Who's first? Nilo?
Nilo?
Thank you. I'm not 100% against it, but I always think that having components match the versions just for the sake of matching versions is not a good idea. For some components like KCP operator, I can see that because we also reference the version of KCP in KCP operator. So there it would make sense to say, okay, KCP operator v0.31. So we bump KCP operator up, and then we have like a subversion or something for KCP operator for like the usual enhancements and stuff that I can see that has its own problems, to be honest, because I've done things like that before and it's been derailed into like a version matrix fest, which is not fun. And for other components like init agent, I don't see that being super useful. API sync agent depends, but I think API sync agent is also so mature that it doesn't need this kind of this kind of version matching, because it would end in just, hey, we are bumping this just because KCP itself got bumped. I think we should just invest more in stronger release engineering instead of matching versions, because I think that was our problem and not the versions themselves.
I strongly agree with Nilo. Everything he said.
Okay. I think this is a quick one. I kind of leaning towards that. I just wanted to know what other people think. And okay, we need to do some work in the release engineering for all those repos, because I think we're falling behind as a community a bit. So that's something to invest in too.
Simon.
MJ, do you want to create a task for this? Should someone else create a task? Maybe I think the outcome of our discussion now could be someone who just creates a task, because it's something someone needs to work on.
Yeah, I create a task and we'll see how we can assign that. Yeah, even Christoph, I know.
No, sorry, my bad.
No, it's good. Cool. I think we can close this one. It's quite quick one.
Yeah.
Just wanted to measure the temperature in the room, basically, and I got the temperature. Should I go to the next one?
Yep.
So this is coming out of kind of did a quick skim of the document. It's a bit of AI slop thingy, but just to have a discussion. This is coming out from the KubeCon and some of the KubeCon discussions we had. And one of the things we basically kind of got asked idea, something like a proposal to look into that is a bit of reference architecture. And in a particular case, to try to solve developers' access to the clusters reference architecture. Meaning, how do we give access to team alpha, team beta, and whatever other teams and their services? We give kubectl access to them so we can do Argo, Flux, Crossplane, whatever. So I think most of us, we know how to build this. We built it multiple times. I don't think we have any public reference architecture how to actually do it, some easier way to do that. And I kind of talked, me, myself, and I, if AI can be considered one of those. And like, I think it would be good to have something like that as a reference arc where people could pick up, run some Helm charts, and have it in there, basically in their infrastructure. So wondering what other people think, and maybe if it's a good idea, bad idea, basically.
I think it's a solid idea. I think we should just make it clear what is like the, let's say, support policy on that one. If it is like best effort support, that we provide some examples. Those examples might not work, so we don't have issues like, okay, this is now not working, please fix it right now, please patch it critically, and so on. I think it is fair, like it is reference example that you can eventually install, and that, yeah.
I think it goes under the same, like most of the CNCF reference architectures. Once we released after 6 months, half of them already out of date. So
yeah,
it just gives examples. And I think it would be fine even to hosting in some contrib repository, the one we have, or maybe even dedicated ones. Like I don't mind. My
Yeah,
question is-
exactly that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really want that living in the core repo or something like that.
So my question is follow up. Is there any volunteers who would want to work on this? Play with this? I'm not like trying to drop it on top of somebody. I'm just looking. I think like if nobody picks up, I'm gonna just put it on my backlog and do it as time comes. But I'm looking for.
I can go for it.
Cool.
Is this one of the repositories that we would technically want to bump every time we do a KCP release?
I don't know. I don't know even what the final form of this Pokemon would be when done. So, but having
feel
something
that
would.
a bunch of YAML files that we don't maintain might just break over time, and if we force ourselves to keep them updated, maybe this won't happen. Hilo?
That was,
Yeah.
sorry for jumping in, that was part of the support policy that I brought up. Like, do we really want to maintain that or just provide it as one time and eventually best effort update every 6 months or so? Nilo, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Now, the way, if we say this is our reference architecture, I would say we test this on the latest released version. And when we are going towards a new release, we try to release this stuff with this, with the new version or with what we want to release, let's put it like that, and see what breaks, what doesn't break, what can we fix, what is maybe a regression within KCP, that kind of thing. It's relatively easy to make this reproducible, so we can just have it as a script, so that this kind of smoke test before a release is super easy to do. So I think we should just say the latest released version is what we support with our reference architecture, and yeah, that's what we test with.
I'm honestly not much worried about our side of working, not working. It's a bigger issue would be if you're integrating with Crossplane or Crow or some other of those tools, their schema's changing, their stuff changing, and those sides will break more than us. But
No,
let's try it.
whatever
If it
info
doesn't
you
work, we
try
can
this.
always say it didn't work. Like, I don't want us to put in a corner even before we're trying it, something.
Okay. Any final question for this topic?
One last thing, maybe I would like this to be well documented so that it's not just, yeah, here's a bunch of YAML files, but rather to have it properly documented, like why does this work? How is this intended to be working? Like for Resource Broker, we did this thing that it's really just a markdown file, and when changes happen, this markdown file is actually run as a test, basically, by just extracting the stuff out. And that is, I think, a good way to keep your documentation actually working. So this is, for example, one thing. And you can see, if you set this to raw, you can see that there are comments in the markdown file that then don't show up with code blocks, because these are code blocks that are executed to make the test work. And this kind of thing makes sure that your documentation keeps being valid going forward. So you don't have, like, here's the written part and here's the shell script that basically copies what you have in the written part, and then someone comes along, fixes something, but they don't update the written documentation. You don't have this problem generally. We know how documentation tends to be, but I think this is something that we could take as an inspiration for this kind of reference architecture.
I will add you to the list of volunteers, and we can work on this, because Cool. Okay.
That was a good input.
But it's like
Any-
what I'm hearing is it doesn't sound like a garbage. It's value. Like let's try to put something out.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Deprecate all charts, Nilo and MJ.
Do you want to start, MJ, or should I?
So I think it's just a rubber stamping, basically.
Yeah.
So long time ago, before KCP operator was a thing, we had this one shard which was not sharded, basically was not doing much, just deployed KCP. Natural evolution was that we added additional shards for shard, front proxy, just certificates like metadata shard, cache server. They kind of stale now. They're very poorly maintained because we're always pushing people to use either KCP standalone chart if we're deploying a single instance or KCP operator for sharded support. So we're thinking what to do with the rest of the charts, basically.
Okay. I would also say that the operator is definitely the way forward. I have little hopes that the Helm charts even work at this point.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to maintain two solutions. And at best, I could see us offering very simple Helm charts for just deploying basically one deployment with maybe a service, and that's it. More or less what one package in the operator is. Could be one Helm chart, but so yeah, I've already written them off, to be honest, in my mind.
Yeah, it's. I think a lot of us and community did that. We just need a rubber stamp to say, like, yeah, it's.
I would like to have a tiny reusable etcd Helm chart because I often have to install etcd and it's just one YAML file in the operator. But yeah, Nilo.
I would even go a step further and the default KCP Helm chart change it so that it doesn't deploy a front proxy because it doesn't need to. It doesn't support multiple shards. Making this kind of work is probably going to be a bit of a headache. So I would just say the Helm chart for KCP is just to get the root chart. You can test around with it, but if you want anything more, use KCP operator, and then we are done with it. And we are done with this weird stuff with deployments using a front proxy and then kind of rewriting the virtual workspace URL or some kind of stuff. Just let's be done with this and make this as simple as can be. And if they want to have a proper setup, they should use operator.
I honestly, I would not go that far. Because front proxy is part of the system, and now having it in one component, not part of the system, it confuses. Like, it's not expensive, it adds consistency, else I think we might end up into the yet another snowflake situation. I would better even say like KCP chart is replaced by KCP operator chart or something like that, but having yet another flavor is, I don't know.
Simon, you have a hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask something on our off-topic tiny etcd chart thing. Couldn't we have in our normal chart have an option to just install etcd as like a sub chart? Like if, I don't know, values etcd true, we roll out etcd, if not, not.
But I need this Helm chart in the E2E test for the operator, where I just want to have etcd and nothing else.
Okay.
Currently, that's just the daemon set YAML file in the operator repository that I apply, I think. But I think we also needed in the init agent. I think we also needed it. So why not have just one dummy? Was my thought. Yeah,
In the operator. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
but the value is so small. I can also live with not having it. Just
Yeah. Okay.
That
So
makes sense.
do we have a solution on this agreement?
I think for now, just let's deprecate all the ones, like scattered ones. For any follow-up stuff, I'm gonna create a ticket.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Is that good from everyone? Any questions? Christoph?
No?
Okay. Release service 031, MJ.
We had a discussion asynchronously for this. We landed a rebase. That's done. I think it's stable now. We got a few bugs in there. We ended quite a few features, and I think it's time to cut a release. So at this point, I'm just looking for rubber stamp. Is there anything burning people want to get into this one? If not, next week, I'm just gonna start rolling for 031.
One blocker for release is getting publishing bot working.
Oh yeah, that's yes.
I will not be able to take a look at that before Tuesday. So on Tuesday I will get it working, but I am out tomorrow and on Monday. And one thing that I would personally like to see maybe included is the Go updates, because Go had, I think, maybe even 2 security releases since we did the update. I'm not sure what we are running, but the latest 125.9 included a bunch of security updates. So I think we should include that before the release. It shouldn't be too complicated, and I think it's nice that we are on a fresh state.
That's already done.
Really? Nice. Great job.
Cool.
So it's just the publishing bot.
Cool. So
Any
That's it.
concerns?
No. I hope we can this time achieve a consistent set of KCP, multi-cluster runtime, multi-cluster provider, and everything else. Because last time there was, I think, some issues.
yeah, it's release engineering. We need more of that. I suspect if I'm gonna be rolling this, I'm gonna be instructing Claude to write some consistency check script or something like that as we go. Cool.
Okay. The next topic is from Christoph. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so I can't continue my note. So this basically connects to what MJ brought up in the beginning. A couple of maybe last year or so, I wrote a little Go tool that is meant to create an overview, like a map of your release infrastructure, your release branches, your repository, and that's why it's called a sextant. And if I can share the screen, can I share the screen? Yeah, right?
Yes.
Cool. So let me just present. I've already installed it currently on my server. And this just uses the GitHub API to scrape the repositories, find the release branches, and then list through the pull requests that are currently open. In review means it's currently not in review. Block means there are some, can you see the overlay? Yeah. Work in progress is work in progress. It just lists a few of them. You can see all the unreleased changes that are currently already piled up in the main branch. So if we do a 131 release, we would ship 101 changes. And you can extract information. So for each branch, you can pipe, for example, the Docker image through tiny shell script to extract the Go version or the Kube version. We could do this for the operator also to extract the KCP version. And this is just meant to give you an overview of what's the current state of things. and where are we missing backports, and is there something that needs to be shipped. This is based on creating an HTML file every 10 minutes. So I would need to host this somewhere, maybe, if we want something like this. Yeah, I think it's cool. I also have CubeMind on here, because why not? What you would need to set this up, if you want to set up in our infrastructure, is a GitHub token and something with an invoice. Marco.
Yeah, what I wanted to say that I like this as idea. It provides a really nice overview, but I think it is important that it somehow becomes part of our workflow. Like if you just deploy it and never look again, then it's not really worth the effort. What I would propose is that we, if we deploy that tool, that we add like each meeting 5 minutes that we go through this and decide if we need to cut some release.
Whoops.
And basically that way we use it like to make sure that we are not behind the something.
MJ.
But like, yeah, MJ, go ahead.
I was wondering, can we just throw to our favorite cloud where we run CI and run it there?
Yeah,
Another
this can live
one.
in the CI cluster if we need to.
Can it run on Kubernetes?
Sure. There is a container image available, and I run it with Docker Compose currently, so it is containerized.
I just put it in the cluster and that's it.
But it's not a server. It's just, command line script that you run that generates HTML. So we would need some hosting component. Maybe this would be the sidecar to, I don't know, what's that cool web server that nobody likes? Don't say any name. That web server. Or
The one we deprecated on the main stage?
I'm not pouring shade on projects here. That's not the point. The point was just to say that there would also need to be something that, listens to a board that serves this.
Yeah, let's chat next week, Earl. I think we can just throw it to the CI cluster and try it. Overview looks nice and useful, and yeah, we can try to look for in the meetings, as Marco said in the beginning of community meetings.
That was the original intent behind it.
Cool. I like it.
I yield. Stop sharing.
Okay. So I think we have let's say agreement to that one. We will find a place to host it and then see how it works for us.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions for Christoph? Okay. Any other business? We have an item there, and I think it is from Ola.
Yeah. So I mean, I just need a second eye on the PR. It's been open for a while.
Yeah, no, it's not forgotten. There is work in progress for the cached resource revamp, which Robert is working on.
Okay.
And there is a bug somewhere in a cached resource current implementation which prevents your PR to merging in. So I think the goal is once that revamp merges, should get in next few days, maybe early next week. I hope that your PR starts working without cached resource CI failures, basically. So it's one of those. We know things are broken, but we've been rebuilding it, and we kind of like either we fix it or we just wait until it's rebuilt. Sorry for the delay.
Is the PR for the cached resource rewrite already open?
Robert?
There is. I'm sorry. I'm currently in a car, but yes, it's finished. There is. I'm not sure why I still have to have a look. There is again the virtual workspace for cached resources test failing. I have to have a look. But in general, yes, it's finished. Waiting for biggies.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Oh yeah, I see it. I'm gonna have a look at it when I have time.
I shared some PR, I believe it is that one.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks.
Okay. So once this gets in, next one in line is 3808.
Okay. So we came to the end of the agenda. Do we have anything else to discuss?
No, I went through the issues before call. I don't think we have anything new. There is a few opened there in the last few weeks. I think we might be running on low on good first issues. So if any of the new people wants to work on something, just ping us in a channel, or just basically pick up the issue, paste it in a channel, like if you want to work on something, and we can just deal with this asynchronously.
Christoph, you have a hand up.
Different topic. If we're done with the meeting already, I was just wondering if you already had more clarification regarding AI usage in KCP. I brought up the topic of having an agents MD file or similar in our repositories to share common workflows or things. I don't know. And it sounded like people were, I'm paraphrasing here, scared and wanted to ask the CNCF first, which I didn't understand. So where are we in that AI space? Because I think many of us already do some AI stuff, and maybe we should share what we've, used for our projects. Andrew, you were first.
No, at this point, I'm gonna go last. So I don't want
Milo.
to start.
So everyone knows that I don't like AI. I think it's a handy tool, but I don't like what it's used for, and I have a strong disdain for much of the stuff that happens around it. That being said, I am also someone that says a good tool shouldn't be overlooked just because it's being used for nefarious purposes. Otherwise, we wouldn't all be using Linux. Or Kubernetes or whatever. So I am in favor of adding an agents MD and maybe even a subdirectory with specifics, because there are some very cool things that I've done with LLMs that are quite fun, especially around managing stuff. Who has access to the platform mesh repositories, you can look at the admin repository, which is super fun, where I played with agentic workflows.
That's the AI hater.
Yeah. So I think we should. There's nothing from the CNCF or from anywhere else that prohibits this, and I think it would not be detrimental. Let's put it like that, to have an agents MD. That being said, we should first focus on having an up-to-date contributing MD if we don't have it at the moment, which I think is currently very bare bones in every respect. And I've said the same thing in other places where people wanted to add an agents MD, and I then pointed out it's nice that we want to make one for AI, but we don't have a proper one for humans, and we should focus on a human variant of instructions first before focusing on an AI version of this file. Thanks.
Okay, boomer.
Okay, but yeah, I would say we need a couple of things. So we definitely need Agents MD, but we should also think about the AI policy, right? So that we document clearly what AI usage we find acceptable. The problem is, why is that the problem? Because there is also the legal side of thing, and there is also the thing about like figuring out what do we want from people. Like, take the issue, feed it in the AI, and create pull request. I believe none of us really want that, like without any even checking what AI generated. That's the problem on the CNCF level. CNCF still didn't come up with a policy. So something that I will link here that might be useful. And there are projects who try to do something of themselves, but they still struggle with that. That is like, for example, Kubernetes. So maybe we should have HSMD, but we should also have like a definition what AI usage we find acceptable and what we don't find acceptable. That's also one thing that would be nice to have it in addition to that. And MJ, do you still want to stay last
Oh,
and
yeah.
let Simon?
No, it's like I think mine is very much after you. It's like I disagree. I think every policy which we create now will be obsolete months after because AI moves so fast. I'm in a bucket. Let people use whatever tools we want, how we want. Like now you can distinguish the users from AI. In 3 months, you will not. Most usage, you can't already distinguish it. Like CNCF already has sign off by. That's the only policy I think we need. That if you're using AI bot, somebody else is using AI bot, it always has to be attached to the physical person, member of CNCF, which signed the CLA, and that's it. Like, I think whatever policies we're gonna create, which is basically like a Luditis in a couple hundred years ago trying to prevent the revolution of machines. It just fight with a train. So as long as human stands behind the AI agents and we know who owns the stuff and the commits are signed, I don't see why we need to do anything, to be honest. Like, show me AI policy which is up to date. That's my take.
Simon.
Okay. So I'm also in favor of Agents MD, but one thing I would wish for is that it takes more than one review to merge. Like the one thing I want to avoid is that there's a constant group of, I don't know, some people that update the Agents MD all day long and it messes every time. Like at least maybe we'll form a GitHub subgroup or something and say like 2 out of those subgroup needs to approve or something like this. That's my thing. With regards to AI policy, so obviously I don't think that any policy can protect us from bad actors. Like I think that that's just the reality of it. If someone creates a super good AI that creates content that we cannot distinguish from anything else, nothing we can do. The policy does not help us. One thing I do think that we can do is for good actors is to define what are the things that we deem acceptable and not acceptable. For me, the list is pretty much very short. I expect you, if you want me to review something from you, I expect you that you have read it before. That's my only expectation. Like I don't want a bot to generate a thing and then say, hey, I have not even read this myself, but let someone else review it. That's my only point on that one. Anything else is free game. What tools you use to generate, I do not care. I only care that you have read it before you send it to my desk for review.
To that, a teeny tiny addendum before you, sorry. I tried to do this in the KCP operator, where in the PR template, we're now explicitly asking for the why behind of a PR, because most LLMs just seem to generate a PR description with the, oh yeah, I changed all of these functions. Look, I added the parameter here. Look, oh, and then people just paste it and forget to tell us why are they doing these changes. I want to be motivated to merge your code. So that's really important to me. Nilo.
Like in regards to a policy, I agree with MJ that I'm not sure if we need one, simply because it's already at a stage where you often can't distinguish AI from human, so to speak. And the most I would write in a policy is, hey, if you want to talk with us, don't wash it through an AI, don't wash it through an LLM. Just really talk with us. And if there's problems with understanding, that's still better to communicate rather than push this through a random text generator, so to speak. So yeah, with policy, I haven't seen one yet that I agree with, let's put it like that. And they are basically boiling all down to what we are already governed by, which is be excellent to each other. So,
MJ, do you want to go ahead?
Oh, sorry, I didn't lower that.
Yeah, what I would comment on that is that we are all talking about something which is like, yeah, we shouldn't have a policy, but there's this thing that we should follow, and this is kind of the policy, right? It's not a policy that says, okay, we don't want AI at all, but you should follow that and that. I would agree with some point, like what Christoph said. For example, I don't like the fully AI-generated PR descriptions. Most of the time, they don't make any sense. Most of the time, they don't provide any value. So I think that can be one part of policy, like okay, we don't want to like forbid AI-generated PR description, but we can like ask what it should have. I think this is something that is okay. This is kind of a policy. One thing that Simo said as well, I also agree about the HSMD stuff. And I would also say something that I think is important for us maintainers is that AI shouldn't be the solely reviewer of the PR, so that you let the AI run the review and just merge it after the AI comments are addressed. I hope no one is doing that, but I would still like us maintainers and contributors to be very aware, and not use very, but aware of what is getting merged and what is like to understand it, then run it later on. But that is all kind of a policy. I mean, it is not something that is, random set of rules. Well, that's a policy.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it policy. Like policy is a bit strong word, like network policies, all the stuff. It's more like it's like good citizen declaration, or like as Simon mentioned, like we expect you to read the code before submitting the PR, or don't filter stuff through the AI. So it's more like be excellent to each other and do what you expect others to do too. And like the word policy is a bit hard.
I mean, that's the point. The reason why I like policies, because if you say something like, I don't know, whatever else you pick, people are not going to take it serious. We want people to take this serious. Like we want to really, because as Christoph said, if someone didn't like take time to understand, read the code, write the PR description, and even check what AI wrote, why should I review your PR? Like, why should I waste my time potentially because it's probably some AI blurb that probably doesn't make any sense.
But you need to understand that some people don't understand this stuff. It's not a common sense. So like, if you see something like that, just comment out. It's like, just, hey, Mr. X, just don't use AI filter. Talk to me. Like, can you simplify it? Can you do, like, I want us as a community to be encouraged to be able to say no, or to say like, this is bullshit. Like, don't do this. I think we're very much tiptoeing around this. Oh, we can't do that. What would happen if somebody will say X, Y, Z? Like, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say this is trash when it's trash. Like, yes, until it's healthy conversations and everything, but like, we have that common sense. Let's use it. It's not like we're gonna go and start sending everybody away. But some people stayed in our community who came from this, started with AI, and we said like, oh no, stop, don't do this. Like, just write your own stuff. AI is fine. Don't use it, or tune your scripts and everything. And that's my bigger rant with CNCF too. It's like, I think we're trying too much to think of things like that. And I agree, some projects might be more impacted like others, who has like hundreds of open PRs. So yes, they need maybe more drastic policies and more drastic actions. I don't think we are one of those. It's
So should our policy just be a guideline of saying, if you want your PR to be reviewed quickly, then include, reason why we should merge it, make us want it, baby. Sorry. Maybe phrase it like that instead of you're not allowed to do this. Maybe give positive reinforcement.
Yeah, I liked your suggestion in the chat, adequate. So like, it's a nice word, it's a nice stuff. Like, how do you behave at a dinner table? How do you behave at a black tie dinner, etc., etc.? It's a different behaviors. And I don't want us to behave like a black tie dinner all the time and behave more like a friend's table with a drink of choice. It's nicer to be in that kind of community, I think, than the strict one and everything is locked. But hey, if people think differently, let me know.
I would say for now, the consensus is that if we want an AI policy, it should be rather slim, if at all, and that we all would like to have an AgentsMD file. I think that's a universal agreement. Even Nilo can stomach it. Thank you. I'm not really sure what's the correct thing to put in an AgentsMD. I was wondering, procedures like the CubeWe base, if there are some learnings that we could, tell AI before someone attempts it, but it's probably not part of the AgentsMD. There I would rely on the AI experts to tell me what to do. Marco.
I mean, I have sent a link like what is AgentsMD format that they recommend, but I have seen everything. Like, you can have multiple files. You can structure it the way you want. You can basically do a lot. Like, as long as it is simple language that you explain, like you would explain someone else in this call what to do, it's acceptable to put in AgentsMD. It should have some, let's say, structure in a way that you use headings, that you provide a little bit of a technical, more detailed technical instructions, like, how to run lint, how to run Go format, how to run import checks, stuff like that. And basically just try to use the human language to provide as many information if possible. If it gets too long, you split it to multiple files, and that's basically it.
Okay, so my concern was that, as far as I understand, that the AI agents read the entire AgentsMD, so it's always part of your context. And if you have too much in there, it gets annoying. For Claude, I know you can use Claude rules or skills to have additional files. So if I link something from an AgentsMD, that is also only read on demand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Cool.
That's the
I mean, it
main
depends
idea.
a bit on the model. Like models that have problems with pools in general will also have problems with dynamically reading like skills and stuff. But I would say the useful ones can dynamically add additional files to their context where needed.
But that's the point. Like, feel free to suggest to people to use different model too. Like, some people don't know. They get an output, they feel it's okay, and they submit it, while people who used it knows that one model, one tooling is better than other, and sometimes you get garbage just because you're using wrong tool.
However, I would put it on our AI etiquette. I already hate the word that I invented. That you shouldn't accuse someone for just saying, oh, just use a different model, and then you stand there as a PR author who wrote everything by hand. Isn't that kind of demeaning to the other person? So maybe keep those comments until you really are sure that the person used
Yeah, but
AI.
like, ask.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't hurt to ask. It's like,
Sure. I just mean, don't write it as the first comment on the PR.
oh yeah, no.
I
Like,
should have used that model instead. Duh.
but that's like, be excellent teacher.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you very much for your input. The time to voice your opinion until someone else takes over or Marco closes the meeting.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, are there any further inputs or questions for Christoph?
For me or for me?
For you?
I have none.
Yeah. Are there any other topics? We still have like 6 minutes left. I believe many of us had tons of meeting today, so let's close this. And I wish you all a very nice rest of your day. And hopefully to see you all in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Elon, not everybody is joining meetings on holidays.